House of Swag, or Sisters with the Grind, is making a point of setting its own standards of beauty. You can find the Brooklyn-based company's graphic images of women of color with natural, curly, and kinky hairstyles on T-shirts, accessories, and on very fashionably dressed dolls. Joining us today is the head designer and CEO of Haus of Swag, Toni S.Grant. Thank you so much for being with
Thank
here.
you so much for having me. So excited.
We have a real bond of fellow Texas born and bred.
That's right.
But we decided New York was the place to be, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Tell me, Haus of Swag, was this a lifelong dream, something you always loved? You know, where do you get the idea?
Haus of Swag actually was born from a literal dream. I owned a business in Houston, a boutique, and I had a back car accident, and it kind of set me back. Had to close the boutique down, and I went to bed one night, and I literally dreamed about like all these fly women, like Billie Holiday and Lauryn Hill, and they were all in one room. Like I could hear jazz and hip hop, and you know, I just kept seeing those images. And so when I woke up, I started to sketch out, you know, what this would look like on a T-shirt. What would that say, right? And Haus of Swag was born, and then I started to think about like all the women I know that were grinding, because we put the logo with the female on top of the house, because you know, we're sisters, we're in charge of ourselves, we're ahead of our game. So that's kind of where it was born.
And it has grown. Are you happy with the growth so far?
I'm so excited about the growth. I couldn't be happier. People have really taken to the line.
The brand seems like it is just perfect to be based in Brooklyn.
Exactly. We started in Houston, and we were trademarked in Houston. When we got here, I mean, it was like 300 times, you know, oh my God, I can't. I'd have women literally coming up to me at trade shows in tears. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. And it's still today, it's unreal, that imagery. It's like a conversation. It's always a conversation. And I know people think, yeah, T-shirts, commodity, but it's so much more than that. It really is an empowering thing for women to see themselves on those T-shirts.
Yes, they see women that look like them.
Absolutely.
And the natural hair movement, just really big the last decade or so. And I think getting bigger.
Yes.
Has that really helped the brand as well?
That has been a pivotal point in our brand, our strategy. We don't want to necessarily alienate women who do not, you know, wear their hair natural. We want to be able to say that when you see yourself, you're seeing a woman of color no matter how she rocks her hair, right? And she's free to express herself, but she's fly, she's fashionable. So that was kind of what we wanted to do. We wanted women to see themselves a little bit more fashionable, because I will say oftentimes with women who are natural, they're looked at as bohemian-esque, you know, not so, you know, you don't see that on the runway. And so we took we take images straight from runways, and we put those on a T-shirt. The lady may be wearing a glamorous gown, but she's got that big, huge afro, like I'm here, you know?
Yeah, your hair is absolutely
Thank you
gorgeous.
so much. Thank you so much.
And you have expanded the brand to the lovely dolls that we see sitting here on the table. A little bit of everything. I love it. Because I have to say, one of the things I recognized myself, especially my young self, you know, with that big full hair. And it was nice to have a doll that has the hair texture.
Absolutely.
How have the dolls been received?
The dolls have been well received. The thing of it is, there's 60% of the world has textured hair, yet there are not very many brands that, you know, focuses on that, right? We're that fashion brand. We wanted to focus on women with textured hair. It doesn't matter the race so much, right? So when people see the dolls, even little girls, they cannot put them down. But it's so funny because it's all, you know, my friends, you know, and we're kind of up in age, you know, but they want the dolls, and they just get so excited about it, and it just felt right. It felt like an extension of the brand that needed to be done, and it just started with one doll, and my niece couldn't put it down, and it just spiraled.
How many now?
It's 60.
60 dolls.
Yes.
And if you want to get your hands on them, I told you I went online, and I was upset because the dolls I wanted were sold out. And then I asked myself, why am I trying to buy this doll?
Were you sneaking at 3 a.m. looking for those dolls?
Exactly, like shoe shopping at 3 a.m.
Wow, that makes me feel really, really good.
How difficult was it to move from T-shirts into basically, you know, putting up your own doll collection?
Absolutely. It was a transition because you don't know the prototype. You're just, you know, it really turned into something that was a hobby, where my husband had really thought like, something's wrong with this lady. She's up at 4 in the morning messing with dolls. And it just seemed, it it felt spiritual, to be very honest. It just felt like, I gotta do this, right? So I saw one doll wearing our t-shirt, which we created the signature House of Swag doll, and I thought, oh, what about this t-shirt? What about that t-shirt? I've gotta do her, and she should look exactly like she looks on the t-shirt. Yeah. And so the part of the textured hair is where it gets really, you know, it's a labor of love. It's an expression of us, but it's a definite labor of love. And little girls, it's always where people say, I wish I had these dolls when I was growing up. That's what we hear, and so they're here now.
Yeah, and now what's your price point? The t-shirt?
The price points for our tees start at about $28 and go up to about $48. And the price points for the dolls, because they're one of a kind and custom, we don't duplicate dolls, they start at about $125 and go up from there.
And what's your plan to expand the brand?
I just want to continue to have a voice. I think that if you're going to do fashion in any shape, form, it should just have a voice, and so I just want to be that voice for someone who doesn't have a voice. So if you're walking down the street and you're wearing a t-shirt, you can express yourself without saying anything. It makes me feel really good.
I'm sorry, you've also said this is about, the company itself even is about empowerment.
It is, and self-love. I think that the imagery that we see today, unfortunately, it's dictated to us. So I wanted to be able to say, well, here, I'm going to say this is who we are, because we don't have a voice. So I want to be that voice with our brand.
So where can we find House of Swag t-shirts and the dolls?
www.houseofswag.com, and we also do trade shows in and around Brooklyn, but we travel as well for trade shows.
Well, I got a feeling we're going to be seeing more of you, Miss Grant, as well as your lovely dolls and t-shirts.
Thank you so much.
We wish you the best of luck and hope you'll come back to Here and Now.
I appreciate you even having me, especially someone from Texas. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
When we come back, International Jazz Day. Stay with us.